There is something fascinating about the way people talk about Bitcoin today. The world has gone a long way from the early days when Bitcoin was just a mysterious digital experiment discussed in niche online forums. Now we see financial institutions buying and holding Bitcoin, countries exploring regulatory frameworks, and everyday users, from college students to retirees, asking how to buy, store, and protect this new form of money. Yet, behind this growing awareness lies a surprisingly common misunderstanding, one that has caused countless losses and heartbreak. Many people still do not truly understand what a Bitcoin wallet is. At first glance, the word wallet sounds familiar. We all know what a wallet is in the physical world. It's a place where we keep money. You slip in a few bills, some cards, maybe a family photo, and carry it around in your pocket. So naturally, when someone hears the term Bitcoin wallet, it's easy to imagine a similar concept, a digital place where your Bitcoin is stored inside your phone or computer. But that picture, while convenient, is not exactly accurate. And recognizing the difference is the foundation for understanding how to protect your Bitcoin properly. A Bitcoin wallet does not actually store Bitcoin. No application, no device, no website is literally holding your Bitcoin inside it. Bitcoin exists only on the blockchain, a massive distributed ledger spread across thousands of computers worldwide. Every transaction, every coin, every transfer is recorded there. Public, immutable, and permanent. So when we say, I have Bitcoin in my wallet, what we truly mean is that we possess the private key that proves ownership of Bitcoin recorded on the blockchain. This is the core idea. Your wallet doesn't hold Bitcoin. Your wallet holds keys. Bitcoin ownership is controlled by two types of keys, public keys and private keys. The public key is like an address people can send Bitcoin to. Imagine it as your bank account number, safe to share, used for receiving funds. The private key, on the other hand, is more like the password to your vault, and whoever has that key has full control over your Bitcoin. If the private key is lost, stolen, or exposed, the Bitcoin is gone. No customer support, no password recovery email, no central authority to contact. It is financial self-sovereignty at its purest, but also responsibility at its highest level. To make this more user-friendly, most modern wallets use what is called a seed phrase, usually a set of 12 or 24 words generated randomly. This seed phrase can recreate your private key at any time. Back it up properly, and you can lose your phone, your computer, even your hardware wallet, and still recover your Bitcoin elsewhere. Fail to back it up, and a single moment of carelessness can erase years of savings forever. Many people have learned this lesson the hard way. Stories of old laptops thrown away with millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin locked inside have become legendary cautionary tales. When users install a wallet app, they often think that the Bitcoin is inside the app itself. It's not. The app is simply an interface, a tool to manage your keys and interact with the blockchain. You could delete the app and reinstall it on another device. As long as you have your seed phrase, your Bitcoin remains accessible. Without that phrase, even the most advanced wallet cannot help you. This realization alone changes how we think about custody and security. Understanding this concept brings us to a deeper question. If wallets are really just key managers, then how many types are there? How do they differ? Are some safer than others? And more importantly, which type should someone choose based on their goals, whether they are long-term holders, daily traders, or people who want to use Bitcoin for payments? With this foundation laid, we can now step further into the world of Bitcoin wallets. In the next part, we will explore the different types of wallets available today, how they work under the hood, and why choosing the right wallet is one of the most important decisions any Bitcoin user must make. Now that we understand that a Bitcoin wallet isn't a container for coins, but a tool that manages our private keys, a new landscape opens up before us. Suddenly, we begin to realize why there are so many wallet options and why people debate fiercely over which is the safest, which is the most convenient, and which best represents the philosophy of Bitcoin itself. It's because different wallets offer different balances of security, control, and usability. And the type of wallet you choose ultimately reflects how you want to interact with Bitcoin. The first major distinction is between hot wallets and cold wallets. The idea is simple. A hot wallet is connected to the internet, while a cold wallet is not. Convenience versus security. This is a trade-off as old as time. A hot wallet, usually in the form of a mobile or desktop app, allows quick transactions. It's great for daily use, sending and receiving Bitcoin, or managing funds on the go. Many beginners start here because it feels familiar. You install an app like Blue Wallet, Moon, Phoenix, or Electrum, set it up in minutes, and suddenly you have a Bitcoin address. It feels effortless. But convenience always comes with a cost. Because hot wallets are connected to the internet, they carry an increased risk of digital attacks, malware, phishing, device hacking. It doesn't mean they are unsafe. It means users must be mindful. For small amounts, spending money, or experimenting, a hot wallet can be perfect. But when value grows, when Bitcoin becomes something you plan to hold long term, the conversation changes, and cold wallets enter the stage. A cold wallet is designed with one mission: security. By keeping your private keys offline, stored in a device like a ledger, Trezor, Bitbox, Coldcard, or Keystone, cold wallets dramatically reduce the attack surface. Hackers cannot steal what isn't accessible through the internet. To make a transaction, you sign it offline and then broadcast it online. Your private key remains isolated, untouched by the digital world. It feels almost ceremonial, like unlocking a safe box. You hold the key physically, literally in your hand. It is empowering, but also sobering, because if you lose it or lose your seed phrase, no one can help you. That brings us to another important distinction: custodial versus non-custodial wallets. A custodial wallet is one where someone else holds the private keys for you. Most commonly, cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, or centralized services like PayPal or Revolut. Many newcomers keep their Bitcoin on exchanges because it is simple. One login, one password, and everything is done. You don't need to think about seed phrases or backups. But this simplicity comes with a hidden cost. If you don't hold the keys, you don't truly own the Bitcoin. Your balance is essentially an IOU. The exchange promises to give you Bitcoin when you request it, but until then, it is theirs to control. History has shown the danger in this. Mt. Gox, Celsius, FTX, names that echo painfully through Bitcoin history. Millions of dollars lost not because Bitcoin failed, but because people trusted the wrong custodians. A custodial wallet is not bad in itself. It can be useful for trading, for beginners easing into the space, or for holding small amounts. But understanding the risk is crucial. Control is convenience. Self-custody is responsibility. On the opposite end are non-custodial wallets, where you hold your private keys directly. No third party can freeze your funds, stop your withdrawal, or demand your ID. For many Bitcoiners, this is the very essence of what Bitcoin stands for: financial sovereignty. Yet this power can be intimidating. You become your own bank, and banks don't lose keys. As Bitcoin evolves, wallets evolve along with it. Modern wallets are no longer just basic key managers. They are increasingly sophisticated. Many now support Lightning Network, Bitcoin's fast and low-fee payment layer, enabling instant transactions even for tiny amounts like a cup of coffee. Some wallets use multi-signature, multi-sig technology, requiring multiple private keys to authorize transactions, ideal for businesses, shared funds, or long-term cold storage. Multi-sig solutions like Casa, Unchained, and Sparrow Wallet are growing more popular among serious holders who want resilience against loss or theft. Even more recently, there has been an explosion of interest in features like Taproot, SegWit efficiency, and even Bitcoin ordinals, which allow unique digital artifacts, similar to NFTs, to be inscribed on the Bitcoin blockchain. While opinions differ, some love ordinals for expanding Bitcoin's creative use cases, others argue they bloat the chain. What matters for us is this: wallets today are more capable than ever before. Some are optimized for Lightning payments, some for large cold storage, some for privacy, and some for interacting with new forms of Bitcoin digital assets. Choosing a wallet is no longer a single decision, but an ongoing relationship between you and your Bitcoin. You might start with a mobile wallet to learn, upgrade to a hardware wallet when your savings grow, and perhaps later build a multi-sig backup plan. Bitcoin is not static, and your approach doesn't have to be either. What matters is understanding the tools deeply enough to decide intentionally rather than blindly following trends or convenience. As we explore deeper, a natural question arises. Once we choose a wallet, how do we use it safely? What habits keep our Bitcoin secure? And what mistakes should we avoid at all costs? Because owning Bitcoin is not just about choosing a device or an app, it's about protecting the keys that represent ownership. And this responsibility can be empowering or dangerous, depending on how much we prepare. So, as we move forward into the next part, we will slow down and focus on the heart of the matter: how to secure a Bitcoin wallet correctly, how to protect seed phrases, avoid scams, and build a mindset of long term safety. Understanding the tools is important, but understanding how to safeguard them is the true foundation of Bitcoin ownership. The moment someone creates their first Bitcoin wallet, there is a quiet but profound shift in responsibility. It's exciting, almost empowering, to know that no bank stands between you and your money. No frozen accounts, no permission required, no closing hours. Yet with this freedom comes a truth that many newcomers overlook until it's too late. Bitcoin does not forgive mistakes. There is no forgot password button, no customer support agent who can magically restore access to lost funds. When you hold your private keys, you hold absolute control. And absolute control demands absolute care. Security begins with one simple but often underestimated element: the seed phrase. Those 12 or 24 words you see when creating a wallet may look insignificant, almost casual, but they are your wallet. Anyone who sees those words can access your Bitcoin. Think of the seed phrase as a master key capable of regenerating your entire wallet on any device. If you lose the device but keep the seed, your Bitcoin survives. If you lose the seed but still have the device, you live on borrowed time. One glitch, theft, or accidental deletion could wipe everything. Because of this, storing a seed phrase properly becomes the foundation of wallet security. Many people make the mistake of taking a screenshot, saving it to cloud storage, or sending it to themselves through email or chat. It feels convenient. It feels harmless. But convenience is the enemy of security. Cloud accounts get hacked, emails get breached, phones get stolen. Malware can scan digital files silently. A seed phrase stored online is like leaving your house key under the doormat, fine, until someone decides to check. The safest practice is surprisingly simple. Write your seed phrase on paper, by hand, and store it in a secure place, or even multiple places. Some go further, engraving it on stainless steel plates like crypto steel or seed plate, so fire or water cannot destroy it. It may feel extreme, but people have lost fortunes because a flood ruined a piece of paper, or a house fire consumed everything. Bitcoin security rewards those who think ahead. Yet even writing it down is not enough if stored carelessly. A seed phrase sitting visibly in a drawer is barely safer than a screenshot. Some people choose to store 2 copies in separate geographic locations. One at home, another in a vault or trusted relative's house. Others split the seed into parts, storing each separately so no one has full control without combining them. There is no single perfect method, only a personal balance of risk tolerance, privacy, and convenience. Bitcoin pushes us to think like guardians, not casual users. For advanced users, there is an additional layer called a passphrase. This is like adding a 25th word to your seed phrase. Without the passphrase, the wallet cannot be accessed, even if someone steals the original 24 words. It's a powerful enhancement, a second lock on the vault. But like all power in Bitcoin, it is double-edged. Forget the passphrase, and even you lose access forever. Implementing a passphrase requires discipline, secure storage, and confidence that you can maintain it long-term. It is not for everyone, but it stands as proof of Bitcoin's unique approach to security. You choose how far you want to go. The next threat to consider is phishing and social engineering, the silent predators of the digital world. A malicious website that looks identical to a real one can trick users into entering their seed phrase. A scammer may pose as support staff and request recovery words to help verify your account. A fake wallet app appears on the App Store, promising convenience while stealing keys the moment they're created. These attacks succeed not because Bitcoin is insecure, but because human behavior is. The golden rule must be carved into habit. Never share your seed phrase with anyone, under any circumstance. No legitimate wallet, company, or service will ever ask for it. The moment someone requests it, you're talking to a thief. Beyond seed phrases, the devices we use matter. A wallet on a phone infected with malware is like locking your front door, but leaving the window open. Keeping devices updated, using strong, unique passwords, enabling two-factor authentication on exchanges, and avoiding suspicious links all contribute to a stronger security environment. Some Bitcoin holders dedicate a separate phone exclusively for crypto use, never logging into social media, never installing untrusted apps. It might sound excessive until you remember what's at stake. Stories circulate in the Bitcoin community like legends of caution. The man who stored his Bitcoin on a laptop thrown away during a house cleanup, now buried in a landfill. The early adopter who screenshotted his seed phrase and later got hacked. The trader who forgot to write down his backup and lost everything when his phone died. These are not myths. They are reminders that Bitcoin is powerful because it removes intermediaries, but also because it removes safety nets. Good security is not paranoia. It is peace of mind built through preparation. As users gain experience, they often move from simple wallets to more sophisticated setups. Some adopt multi-signature wallets, where spending Bitcoin requires two or more keys. Imagine needing two locks to open a safe, one at home, one in a bank vault, and suddenly a single point of failure disappears. Even if one key is compromised, your funds remain safe. Businesses, families, and long-term holders increasingly rely on multi-sig setups for resilience. The future may even see blended models where hardware wallets, passphrases, and multi-sig strategies coexist smoothly. But security isn't just about tools. It's also a mindset. Understanding risk and planning ahead protect you more than any device can. Ask yourself, if my house burned down, could I recover my Bitcoin? If I lost my hardware wallet, would I still have access? If I passed away, would someone trustworthy inherit my keys? Bitcoin is generational wealth to many. Planning for the unexpected is not pessimism, it is love for the future. So as we reflect on everything so far, understanding wallets, knowing their types, and building strong security practices, we begin to realize how much responsibility Bitcoin places in the hands of the individual. But we also start to see why mistakes are so common. There are myths, assumptions, and misunderstandings everywhere in this space. People think Bitcoin lives in their phone. They assume keeping coins on an exchange is safe. They trust shiny apps promising convenience. But beneath these beliefs lie risks waiting quietly. This leads us naturally into the next step of our journey. Now that we know how to secure a wallet, we must address the misconceptions that cause people to slip, sometimes with irreversible consequences. In the next part, we'll uncover the most common misunderstandings about Bitcoin wallets, explore real scenarios that mislead beginners, and discuss how to approach Bitcoin with clarity and wisdom. With security foundations laid, it's time to shine light on the subtle misunderstandings that quietly mislead beginners. Many of these misconceptions seem harmless at first. They usually come from assumptions carried over from traditional banking or apps we use daily. But in Bitcoin, a tiny misunderstanding can lead to a catastrophe. The problem isn't that people lack intelligence. It's that Bitcoin demands a new mental model, a different way of thinking about ownership, custody, and responsibility. Let us unpack these misunderstandings slowly and clearly so that anyone walking into the world of Bitcoin carries clarity instead of confusion. One of the most common beliefs among newcomers is that their Bitcoin is stored on the exchange where they bought it. It's easy to see why. Exchanges look like online banks. You see a balance, you see charts, you click withdraw or deposit, and things happen. You sign in with an email and password, just like you do for PayPal or your online banking app. It all feels intuitive, but beneath that familiar surface lies a crucial difference. On an exchange, you don't hold your private keys. The exchange does. This means you do not technically own Bitcoin there. You own a promise, an IOU. As long as everything runs smoothly, the line between IOU and real Bitcoin feels invisible. But history has shown that this illusion can shatter overnight. Accounts get frozen. Withdrawals get suspended. Platforms collapse, and users discover, painfully late, that the Bitcoin they thought was theirs never truly was. The phrase, "not your keys, not your coins," isn't a slogan. It is a rule carved out of bitter experience. Another common misunderstanding is the belief that the wallet app is the wallet itself. When someone deletes an app and sees their Bitcoin vanish from the interface, panic sets in. It's gone, they think. But the truth is more comforting. The app is only a viewer. Your Bitcoin never lived inside that phone. It lives on the blockchain. With your seed phrase, you could restore access on another device, another app, or even years later when the original app no longer exists. That small phrase is the lifeboat that survives the sinking ship. Then there is a belief shared by many new holders that their wallet should store a large amount of Bitcoin immediately. Excitement is powerful, and Bitcoin has a way of making people rush. But storing large funds without proper understanding is like driving a sports car at full speed on your first day, thrilling until it becomes tragic. New users should start small. Learn how to back up a seed. Send a tiny transaction. Restore a wallet from backup. Build confidence slowly. Bitcoin is not a race. It is a lifelong relationship. One more dangerous misconception is the thought that if something goes wrong, someone can fix it. We grow up in a world where customer service recovers passwords, banks reverse fraudulent charges, and institutions act as safety nets. Bitcoin removes the net. This is its beauty, but also its challenge. When a user sends Bitcoin to the wrong address, there is no undo button. When someone reveals their seed phrase, even by accident, the theft is permanent. Understanding this early protects users from the illusion of rescue. Modern scams exploit these assumptions shamelessly. A message appears saying, "Support agent here, please give your recovery phrase." A website looks identical to a real wallet page but steals your keys. A friend shares an investment opportunity promising doubled Bitcoin. A cloud mining site claims guaranteed returns. They all rely on misunderstanding. They rely on a moment of trust from someone who doesn't yet realize what Bitcoin makes sacred. Ownership is absolute and irreversible. So, how should newcomers approach Bitcoin wisely? It begins with intention. Before storing value, one should practice like a pilot learning to fly. Create a wallet. Write down the seed phrase. Restore it on another device to be sure it works. Make a small transfer, $5, $10, any small amount. Feel the process. Watch the confirmations appear on the blockchain. This is like dipping your feet into the water before swimming. Confidence should be built through experience, not faith. Next comes the art of choosing the right wallet for the right purpose. If someone wants to trade frequently, a custodial wallet or exchange may be practical for short-term usage, but long-term savings should move to non-custodial wallets. If security is the priority, a hardware wallet becomes a worthy investment. If someone wants fast payments, a Lightning-enabled wallet like Phoenix or Breeze may be ideal. A traveler might prefer a mobile wallet for convenience. A long-term holder might choose a multi-signature setup for resilience. There is no universal best wallet. There is only the best fit for one's needs. Let's imagine a scenario together, a step-by-step practice that many Bitcoiners recommend. A beginner downloads a trusted mobile wallet. They write down the seed phrase carefully, verifying it word by word. They store this paper in a safe location. Next, they buy a small amount of Bitcoin on an exchange. Instead of leaving it there, they withdraw it to their wallet. Their heart might beat faster the first time they press send, watching the transaction leave the exchange. A few minutes later, it arrives. They check the transaction ID on a blockchain explorer, realizing what just happened. Money moved without a bank, without permission, without anyone in between. It is a moment that changes understanding forever. After practicing, they might consider upgrading to a hardware wallet for larger holdings. They set it up, transfer a small amount first, confirm it works, then gradually move more. Over time, they learn to avoid suspicious links, ignore messages requesting seed phrases, and treat their keys like treasure. They store backups in separate locations. They think ahead. What if my device breaks? What if I move? What if something happens to me? Responsibility becomes second nature. This journey may sound detailed, even tedious, but every experienced Bitcoiner smiles knowingly at these steps because they remember their first transaction. They remember the caution, the excitement, the slight fear, and they know that these habits are what protect them from risks that destroy careless holders. Understanding Bitcoin wallets correctly is not merely technical knowledge. It is a form of digital self-defense. It is learning to be your own bank with the wisdom of a guardian, not the recklessness of a gambler. With every misconception cleared, with every security practice understood, we move closer to true sovereignty over our money. We have explored what Bitcoin wallets are, the types that exist, how to secure them, and the pitfalls that trap the unprepared. Now the final step remains to leave the world of instructions and enter the realm of reflection. Because beyond the code, beyond the devices and phrases, there is a deeper meaning behind self custody. It changes the way we think about money, trust, and independence. And that is where our final part will lead us, a personal reflection on Bitcoin wallets, on what it means to hold your own keys, and how this simple concept can reshape the way we relate to value, freedom, and responsibility. After everything we've explored, the mechanics, the security practices, the warnings, and the wisdom, there is something deeper beneath the surface of Bitcoin wallets. It's no longer just about software, seed phrases, or cryptographic keys. It becomes something more intimate, almost philosophical. Because when you hold your own Bitcoin wallet, you are not just storing digital value. You are taking ownership of a piece of your freedom. I still remember the first time I created a Bitcoin wallet myself. It wasn't a grand moment. There was no ceremony, no applause, just a simple screen displaying 12 words that felt strangely ordinary. I wrote them down carefully, twice, maybe 3 times. I checked each word like I was afraid one might slip away. At that moment, it didn't fully dawn on me what I was holding. Just a few words. That was all. But later, something shifted. I realized that these words were a doorway, a direct key into a global, borderless financial network that didn't need my name, my ID, or anyone's approval. No bank could freeze it. No government could dilute it. No stranger could take it if I protected my keys. It was a quiet revelation, like stepping into a world where responsibility and empowerment walk hand in hand. And suddenly, the 12 words didn't feel ordinary at all. They felt sacred. To hold your own keys is to accept a new kind of responsibility, one that most of us are not taught to carry. For generations, we have outsourced trust to institutions. Banks keep our money, platforms store our data, companies safeguard our assets. We grow up believing someone else will take care of things if something goes wrong. But Bitcoin flips that script. It asks us, are you willing to take control? Are you ready to be responsible for what is yours? For some, this responsibility is overwhelming. It feels safer to let someone else hold the keys, to trust an exchange or a service. And maybe that's fine, at least for a while. But something changes when you move from trusting others to trusting yourself. When you unlock your hardware wallet, when you recover your funds using your seed phrase, when you send Bitcoin across the world in minutes without permission, you feel it. A subtle shift inside, a spark of sovereignty. Owning a Bitcoin wallet is not merely about storing wealth. It teaches discipline. It teaches caution. It teaches foresight. You begin to think about backups, about long-term planning, about what happens to your Bitcoin someday when you are no longer here. You begin to see value differently, not something to be held carelessly, but something to be protected, nurtured, preserved. And maybe that is what moves me most about Bitcoin wallets. They force us to confront what it means to own something completely. No bank manager, no password reset hotline, no safety net, only you, your keys, and your understanding. It can be frightening, but it can also be liberating. When someone holds their own keys, they hold their independence. They hold the product of their labor, their time, their sacrifice. They hold the ability to save without permission, to transact freely, to store value across years or even decades. That is power. Not the loud, boastful kind, but the quiet, resilient kind. The kind a person feels when they know nothing stands between them and their future. Some people say Bitcoin wallets are just technical tools. I disagree. I think they are symbols of trust in mathematics over institutions, of responsibility over convenience, of personal sovereignty over dependency. They remind us that freedom is not given, it is taken. And once taken, it must be protected. So if there is a message I want to leave behind, it is this. Learn to hold your own keys, not just with your hands, but with understanding. Start slowly, make mistakes while the stakes are small, grow confident over time. Teach others what you learn. Help them avoid the traps you now know. Because every person who learns self-custody strengthens the very idea that Bitcoin was built on, decentralized, borderless, and owned by no one, except those who choose to claim ownership. In a world where money often feels controlled by distant powers, holding a Bitcoin wallet becomes an act of self-definition. It says quietly but firmly, my wealth is mine. It says I take responsibility. It says I choose freedom over convenience. And that, to me, is one of the most meaningful things a simple digital wallet can represent. The future will bring new technologies, new wallets, new layers, new features we cannot yet imagine. But the principle will remain: your keys, your Bitcoin. It is a phrase that might sound technical on the surface, but beneath it lies a complete shift in how we think about money, independence, and trust. Owning a Bitcoin wallet is learning to carry freedom in your pocket, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it.